trying to sway you cause I ain't got all the answers. I'm just trying to convey to you, I be taking some chances. If my shit don't pertain to you, you can check out your man shit. You ain't teach us a damn thing, you ain't give us the game. We was giving you signals, but you ain't give us a lane.
Hi, welcome to another episode of I Don't Have the Answers, but let's talk about it anyway. I'm your host, Tim the Answer Man Ford. I want to thank you for being here with me. Before we jump into this week's episode, I wanted to say that I hope you had a wonderful holiday and welcome to the new year. Can't believe it's been over a year of me shooting these videos, and thank you for being on this ride with me. It's been fun, and I know that this next year is going to be even better. So, the other day I was watching a movie that I had a friend of mine recommend that I watch. That friend is Mike. You guys probably remember him. And I already had high hopes given the source of the recommendation. But I gotta tell you, they weren't nearly high enough. I mean, it was an animated movie. And it had such deep emotional and spiritual moments that I forgot it was animated for a while. And the movie was DreamWorks Soul. And if you haven't watched it already, I recommend that you do so. And don't worry, I'm not going to be giving any spoilers away in this one. It's something that you have to experience yourself. But it did get me to thinking about three things: gifts, goals, and our path. For gifts, I'm not talking about the presents that you got for Christmas. The gifts I'm talking about are the ones that you were born with. And the ones that no one could take away. Now, some people get confused between gifts and talent. And they have a lot in common, but they're not the same thing. And funny enough, Steve Harvey explains it best by saying that a person can take lessons to improve their voice and sing well, and those lessons will help develop a talent. They will not, however, be able to sing like Whitney Houston as a result of those lessons. Whitney's voice was her gift, and unique to her. Now, to some, realizing what their gift is one of the hardest tasks that they've ever attempted. The reason for this difficulty is that in order to recognize what your gift is, you have to quietly reflect on who you are. Now, you can search through over the internet and find all kinds of different steps to identifying your gifts, but they have some primary things in common. What can you do well with minimal effort? That's number one. Number two, what do other people associate with you? And number three is, other people connect this blank with me. How have I used it? Those are basics, and I'm pretty sure you get to the point. I mean, there's a lot of things that you'd have to dig deep on to find out what your gift is. And it's, in this day and age, it's not exactly the easiest thing. I mean, you're busy focusing on work and taking care of your family. Sometimes finding out what your gift is so far on the back burner that you can't even realize that it's there. But it's important to know what your gift is and to help develop it. It'll take you places that you never thought of possible. And for now, we're going to put a pin in that, because I know that that's just a tease, just dipping your toe in the deep end right there. But I assure you, we'll get back to this a little later on. Next, we're going to talk about goals. And I got to tell you, especially this time of year, we're going to hear all about goals, all the different types of goals. There's books and websites and seminars all over the place that have people preaching about goals. What are they? Why are they? How deep should we dig when we're planning them? What are the types of goals that we're setting? What are the reasons behind those goals? I know that's a lot of questions. It's my job. It's what I do. So you're going to be reading all over social media and friends' texts and everything else about the goals that they're setting. And a few months from now, almost all of them, you know what? I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. A lot of them are not going to be worked on. Those goals, in my personal opinion, are loaded with good intentions, wrong reasons, and poor follow-through. You see, it's not the goals themselves that are the problem. It's everything that went into them, or the lack of the things that went into them actually. They're missing attainability and planning. Take me, for instance. If I set a goal to lose 100 pounds in the next 6 months, but I don't have a legitimate plan for doing so, that goal is unattainable and laughable. You know me. I like to eat. The goal itself is worthy. There's lots of good intention, but setting a goal is the easy part. Reaching it takes work. So before we go posting all over social media that our resolution, another fancy word for goal, is to do blank, I think we need to hit pause. Now, before we make it real on Facebook, let's make sure that it is real for ourselves. And to do that, I have a few steps that I want you to take first. Number 1, how am I going to attain my goal? What are the real steps you're going to do? I'm going to go walking 30 minutes a day and exercise in the morning. I'm going to stop eating that half dozen donuts every day as a snack. Attainable goals. What are the terms of my goal? Is there a definitive time frame? And maybe some sub-goals along the way. Something that has a definitive beginning, middle, and end. Those are the kind of goals that are going to be a lot easier and more structured for you to get to the end point. And number 3, this one was taught to me by a former supervisor. Are the results of my goal measurable? Think about that. Are they measurable? You can't set a vague goal that you cannot measure and be successful at attaining it. It's just not going to happen. And then if you've answered all those, before you hit that enter button to post all about it, you need to ask another question. Why am I posting it on social media? This is your goal. It's personal. Unless you're posting it for others to help from an accountability standpoint or for support, don't post it. If your only desire is to show other people that you have a goal and that's it, so what? I'm sure they have goals too. That is for you and you alone. And that brings me to the last thing I want to talk about. Our path. Just because someone is walking in the same direction that you are, doesn't mean they are on the same path. I know that's pretty heavy to say, but I'm going to say it again. Just because someone is walking in the same direction that you're in, doesn't mean they are on the same path. You're going to encounter a lot of people on your path, but it's your path. You may have companions that join you for different legs in your journey, but it is your journey. Finding your gift, developing goals, and walking your path are all things that are ultimately up to you. You're going to find happiness and joy and sadness and depression in all of the steps and all of the processes for these 3. But don't ever let someone else hijack them or divert you from them. No one should take your gift. No one should steer your goals. And no one should divert you from your path. Those are yours and yours alone. Anytime you attach yourself and your path to another person thinking that that's the way you should be going, you're going to end up remembering or realizing down the road that that was when you left your path and started going down theirs. That was when your goal was aborted and you started hitching a ride on theirs. That was when your gift was wasted and you started riding theirs. Now that's all some heavy stuff right there for you. And I'm sorry. It's just the way I feel. But you never know. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't have all the answers. Thank you for joining, and I hope you have a wonderful week.